Beer me! Yes?
Spark?
Sparkhouse.
Yeah.
Oh!
Great success.
Well, Norris Series Pumpkin Ale. Am I allowed to open it?
For sure. We should have them open.
I love that sound. Darren, right?
I am Darren.
Darren, I
You are
thought
Darren.
I had a great life. I
Yes.
mean, I go off paddling. I'm happy all the time. The happy camper. And now, you
Yes.
make beer and you live in the near north.
Yes.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Yeah.
No, I came here and he was paddling around and yeah.
That's right. Swimming in a bin full of hops and just generally living it up.
There's 4 breweries. I noticed they all have sort of outdoor themes in their marketing, promotion, their logos, whatever. Why? What's that?
Well, I guess might almost say why not. I mean, you're in this area. It's what it's known for. It's what people come here to do. You go to Muskoka or Algonquin region. You're here to be outside fundamentally. Each in our different ways, but everybody ends up playing off of that because that's what people know this region for. That's what people want to do when they come.
Was this an epiphany to you? Like, people are coming up here for the wilderness, the the near wilderness, the sort of accessible wilderness, and then you might think that they would like some beer.
It was not quite an epiphany, I would say it kind of crept up on me. I was still at school in Montreal when I had the idea to open the brewery, but we'd had a family cottage up here for a long time. And it just, I can't tell you the exact moment when I went, yes, I am opening a brewery. But by the time I was in kind of my third year at school, I was quite serious about it.
Basically, during school, you were practicing drinking beer.
Yes.
And you had a love affair for Muskoka because you grew up here, and then you really practiced more and more throughout school.
Yes.
And then you realized you couldn't get a job, and then you just opened a brewery.
Yeah.
And continued your hobby of drinking beer.
Yes.
And stayed up in the area that you liked.
Yes.
Love this guy.
Truck backing up.
Yeah. The truck's backing up, loading the beer in. How many vats?
We've got 10 fermenters. So we got a brew house, 10 fermenters, bright tanks. We got a filtration system in there, obviously, and then our canning line at the back. So, yeah.
And the guy with the mustache.
Dan.
Best mustache I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Has he worked here for a long time?
Yeah, he's been here since pretty near the beginning. He's our head brewer.
Okay.
He does have some fine facial hair.
And he filters the beer with
Through his mustache. Is that why he did that? That's actually our fallback filtration system.
Okay.
If the centrifuge breaks down, then Dan just has to sit there and kind of like a lobster or Dr. Zoidberg or something like that.
So do you paddle when you're here?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I grew up paddling on the South Muskoka River. My wife and I live just back in the woods, actually, not on the water, but my parents still have a place on the water, so we go down, we canoe and kayak and do all that. Been on a few canoe camping expeditions. But yeah, we got the pumpkin there. This one's a Sparkhouse Red Ale. This is our number one selling beer, actually.
Yeah, that's your preference.
I like it too.
Yeah.
And then we got a few others as well. So we've got Rock Cut Lager, Crossman Pale Ale, 10-point IPA. That kind of rounds out our year-round product lineup. We do a beer called Top Shelf that helps raise funds for the NHL Alumni Association.
Oh, the hockey one. Beer me! Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that paddling is truly a Canadian thing? I mean, we all know hockey is, we all know beer is, but is paddling truly Canadian?
Well, I mean, it's a very Canadian thing. It's how a lot of the country was opened up. It's still a thing that lots of people love to do. So I think it's quite Canadian. Let
me think. What else am I supposed to ask you? I had them written down. Sorry, I haven't written them down. I'm all excited being here today. Oh yes. What is it about the Great Canadian Wilderness north of Toronto that sets this region apart?
Well, I mean, I think it's a combination of accessibility and the scenery and geography. I mean, because you can feel like you're so far away from Toronto, and it's really not all that far in the grand scheme of things, like 2.5 hours, and you're here. I think that's ultimately what attracts people. I mean, obviously there's the cottage experience, but then there's also there's camping you can do here. There's lots of places you can go hiking. There's places you can go canoeing. Obviously, lots of stuff you can do it on the waters. So I mean, you can get a genuine wilderness experience here for sure. Most of Muskoka is still just small lakes and trees and rocks and kind of little dirt roads in between them. That is really most of it still.
With beer in between. All right. Which of your beers do you recommend for a pre or post tripping?
Since I have Sparkhouse in front of me right now,
that's the best one.
Yeah. No, I'd say it. I mean, my go-tos most insistently would be probably Sparkhouse and then Crosswind, our pale ale. And really, in any combination, before or afterwards, they're refreshing, they're tasty. I'd recommend them.
So I am very nervous still.
Here, I'll have one too.
Oh, yeah. Remember Norm? Remember he had that job tasting beer? Remember Cheers?
Before my time.
Oh, be quiet. I'm not old. Be quiet. I'm not old. They made me they dressed me up to make me look younger today for this shoot. Thanks a lot. Norm, on Cheers.
Yes.
He got this job interview for tasting beer for a beer company.
Right.
And it was his dream job, right? And then
Yeah.
he got so nervous during the interview that he flunked. He couldn't do it.
This is a fun industry to be in. It's like anything, it's hard work. Much as you might think, we don't just sit around and drink beer all day. There's quite a bit more to it than that.
So basically, beer and paddling is the ultimate Canadian wilderness experience.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've done my job today. All right, cut!